My name is Denis Joseph, and I've been a tutor at the Literacy Center since 2008. I served in the field of special education almost 40 years. Teaching is reciprocal. I think that your students teach you just as much as you teach them.
Yeah, English very hard language. Yes, I wanna speaking English. My children's at school and many mothers meeting, and my children's teacher, the communication. I need speaking English.
So I take classes at community college. I'm taking Spanish. I'm like this old lady who is always like doing my homework and answering questions, and I'm sure they would wish I would shut up. I became what's called a cultural mentor to an Eritrean family. So I took the skills that I learned in family literacy from the Literacy Center and just did it on my own. I've been a member of Fountain Street for many years, and I'm on the Social Action Committee. The Grand Rapids Women's Chorus, I've been with them since 2008. It was kind of at the same time I started at the Literacy Center. We have a good time, and we sound good. There's so much human need in our community, and I have the resources, I have the time, I have the energy, and so if I can just make a little difference. What made it easy for you to learn English?
And time?
Okay, time here.
Yes, one year.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. When I realized how much progress she was making is when she and I could carry on a conversation in English. So I would tell you, if you wanted to tutor, because I'm always trying to recruit tutors, that if you have some time, I just think it takes you out of yourself. I think anything that takes you out of yourself, and I think, you know, and it benefits. I'm not one of those seniors that's gonna go play pickleball in Florida. That's just not me.
My name is Christina Arnold, and I was the founding director of the Bob and Alicia Woodrick Diversity Learning Center, which is now the Center for Equity and Inclusion at Grand Rapids Community College. My grandparents, Daniel and Guadalupe Vargas, were one of the first Mexican families to settle here in Grand Rapids back in the 40s. My grandfather was very, very involved in supporting and assisting migrant workers, so I think the work that my grandfather was doing really instilled that passion for equity and justice, and so I think that was just always a part of who I was as an individual and the role models that I had.
Chris knows the value of education and the opportunities that can be provided if a student is educated. So she becomes an advocate for diversity, inclusion, and trying to bring more diversity to the student body at Grand Rapids Community College.
When the center was established back in 2006, one of our goals was that any student or community member that walked through the doors would see their self reflected in the programming in some sort. What's exciting to me is that a lot of students will stop in and ask, what is this? And what does it mean? And so it gives us the opportunity to share what we do. One of our goals was to ensure that we were able to impact all of our students, that all students would feel welcome.
Chris is just phenomenal with people. She has incredible empathy, and so she was able to talk to potential donors and give them the value of the work we were doing and how we needed them. And I think people fell in love with her. It's
been so inspiring to me to meet students and to see their success throughout their educational career. This is why we do what we do and why it matters.
But I would say that Chris has been a very gentle, quiet giant in this community. She never calls attention on herself. All she cared about was doing the right things. She has influenced a lot of young people for many, many years. And I think others will learn from that and look at her and say, wow, I want to be just like her.
We have a lot going on in our community, a lot of growth. I do think, though, that we have a lot of work to do in the area of equity and inclusion and diversifying our neighborhoods and diversifying our workforces and our boards.
I'm glad that the Literacy Center is recognizing the work that Christina Arnold has made to the city of Grand Rapids Community College, and the larger community.
This is going to be good for Chris, but it's going to be good for the community also.
I'm Rick Adamy, and this is my wife, Lloyd. We had a good friend, Gene Dugan, who cornered me one day and said, you know, I'm on the board of this organization that I think might be of interest to you, and she convinced me to talk to the executive director back then, Susan Leedy, and I went on the board about 10 years ago.
I got to know Rick Adamy when I was on the board, and he preceded me as board chair. I learned a lot from Rick's leadership. The way he would handle a difficult meeting, for example, and ask more questions rather than make more statements. The whole idea of listening and understanding people is really what Rick taught, but not by sitting down and saying, hey, you should do it this way, or this is what works, but just by the way he was. I mean, that's a side of leadership that nobody really teaches you that. But seeing somebody do it and seeing them be successful had a lot of impact on me.
What interested me about the Literacy Center is it's not just teaching people to read for the sake of learning to read. That has a social impact, it has a racial impact, it has an economic impact, because once you improve your reading skills, you can move up the economic ladder as well.
First time I'm just reached here to United States, I don't want to go to the store. I don't know even how to ask like this, how much or what. I don't know. And just give my money just away like that. Take one thing and then out. I don't know, maybe sometimes they think like I'm crazy, but I'm running away from them. I don't want them to speak to me. I become proud of myself. I see in myself, I see my life, how my life just changed like that, you know. Thanks you guys, and thanks my teacher, Miss Lowy, too.
Lloyd has been an excellent advocate with her learner. You know, both of them have been always willing to help out. I think Rick is very thoughtful, just a very compassionate man, and really just wants the best for the organization.
What keeps me involved and engaged in the Literacy Center really goes back to the reason that I got on the board in the first place. The Literacy Center for me provides that service to the community that nobody else really does to the extent that they do. It's a dynamic organization. It's not just resting on its laurels.
It's a real satisfying feeling to know that my student is feeling a lot of success. So what I see when she tells me how now she reads at Bible study and speaks at church, she's now able to show people what's inside of her because she can speak more clearly and she can read with confidence.
So now I can read, I can fill my old paperwork with myself. I see myself one day, those coming years, you know, I can be a speaker.
You know, the bond that I've developed with Kamala is because Kamala drew me in. She's made it quite clear that she's happy to have me as part of her life. And I feel real lucky that I am part of her life. I know that I'll stay with Kamala as long as she needs me and as long as she wants me.
The future of the Literacy Center is interesting. I'm expecting to see great things from Wendy and Libby and the team at the Literacy Center. They just do one heck of a job.
I've done a lot of other volunteer things in my life, and this has been by far the most rewarding. To teach somebody who really, really wants to learn is a wonderful experience.
So why I think Rick deserves this award, do you think that's a really obvious question? And I think what's interesting to me is it's the fact that there is no one thing to point to that makes him the perfect recipient of the award. You should get every leadership award.